Today is Tuesday, June 21st. I am 12 weeks and 3 days pregnant, and I have my 12-week appointment today. They are going to do, I assume, a urine test, check the heartbeat with the Doppler for the first time, because the last time I had it done was during my first ultrasound. And then I'm getting my initial blood work done, which I have never had done before. I've never had blood drawn. It is like my absolute #1 fear. Talking about it makes me very weak, anxiety fueled, feel like I'm gonna pass out. Anytime I've had like a finger prick, or like when I got TB tested, they do it in your forearm, and almost passed out at both of those. Like when I saw a lot of blood coming out of one of my piercings, I passed out in the car. So this is gonna be an interesting time, but I am excited to hear Bub's heartbeat. I am nervous because I just want to hear the heartbeat and get good news, not bad news. So we will see how it goes. We're gonna leave in about 30 minutes. It's now about 1:12. My appointment is at 2. So I'm kind of excited, but very, very anxious. I am back from my appointment. We've been home for like an hour and a half, and my appointment went well. We were there for about an hour and 10 minutes, so there were parts of it that were really short and then really long. You know, at the doctor, it's kind of a waiting game, even if you're there perfectly on time. So I went, I got weighed, I did a urine test like always, and then I actually went straight back in the room. So I was back in the appointment room. What would you call that? I don't know. But I was back in the room pretty quickly, but then, you know, the doctor takes like 15 plus minutes or whatever it was. But I had my blood pressure taken, and she asked me a couple questions about just very common symptoms, like yes or no's. And that was it. The doctor came in at about 2:35-ish. And it's just funny to me because it's so like no big deal. Like he walked in and I think he said, "So, is anything new?" And I was like, well, I haven't had much of an appetite, and I think I've lost a couple pounds. Maybe I said that. But I think that's starting to go away. And he was basically just like, yep, that's normal. Women around 12 weeks start to feel better. And I was like, okay. And then he was like, let's check the heartbeat. At 12 weeks he said 12 weeks is kind of like the starting point of when they can hear it on a Doppler. So I was a little bit nervous. Like that's something that I definitely wanted to hear. You know, I said that I was nervous about it, but we were able to hear the heartbeat, which was very exciting. And Joe did a voice recording, so I can play that for you. Yay. It was 161. Very good. Super strong. And that made me feel like so much better. Like I wasn't too concerned if we couldn't hear it, because it's like at the very beginning of the window when you possibly could. But hearing it, I was just like, oh yes, okay, everything is okay, we're good. And then I went to go get my lab work done, and I was feeling very calm beforehand. Like driving to the appointment, all through my appointment, I was feeling very relaxed, and like I knew everything was gonna be okay, like with the baby. And so I felt very chill and at peace. And then they called my name to do my blood work, and I was like, oh Christ, this is gonna be a situation. And they were like, okay, sit down, like you don't pass out or anything, do you? And I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a bad situation. They were like, okay, we'll take you in the room next door so you can lay down. You know, trigger warning, if you get squeamish or any type of feelings about blood draws, I would skip this if I was me. So just skip ahead a little bit. But I laid back and I wasn't like totally flat, but I was like very, very reclined. And I felt fine. But as soon as she put, I don't know what they call it. I want to say a tourniquet, but I also don't think that's right. As soon as she tied off my arm, I was like, I think that's when I actually vocalized. I was like, oh Christ. And she was like, don't get worked up now. I was just like, oh, this is gonna go downhill real fast. And, you know, she wiped my arm. Luckily, because of the angle, like they had my arm totally hanging off the edge like a freaking limp noodle. I couldn't see anything that was happening, which helped so much because I know the sight of blood is really triggering for me. So I knew I would be way worse off if I saw it and had the anxiety about what was happening. But the phlebotomist was incredible. She stuck me once and got it. She did it as quick as she could. Joe said it looked like they took in total about 5 vials. So it's like no wonder I felt like I was sitting there for an eternity, because it like kind of was. Like it wasn't quick. It took probably like a minute or two solid. And I was feeling good throughout. Like I had my eyes closed. I was trying to breathe and be calm. But the longer I sat there, the more I felt like I could feel it happening. And then I started getting freaked out. So at the very end, like once she cleaned me all up and whatever, that's when I started to look bad. And she was like, oh, your color's changing. I was like, fuck. I laid there for a little bit and then I was like starting to get sweaty. And then I said, I think I'm gonna throw up. Like I was getting so nauseous. And I didn't throw up. I just laid there and I was okay. And then she sat me up a little bit after a couple minutes, like after my color started to come back a little bit. And one of the other nurses went and got me a Sprite. Started to feel a little bit better. They put like a cold rag on my neck or maybe on my chest. And I was starting to feel okay. And then I sat there for a couple minutes and I was like, all right, I believe I should be good to go. Like I'm not feeling weird anymore. And then I stood up slowly and I walked over to like the counter to put my rag down, and I was just kind of standing there for a couple minutes. Not minutes, a couple seconds. And I was like, oh God, we're going down again. So I went and I sat in the chair in the room. Not the original chair I was in. I was all over this room. And I went and sat down on the chair and I started feeling very like cold sweat sort of vibe. And I leaned my head up against the wall because I thought I was gonna pass out. And then I felt really queasy. So I was like, I think I'm gonna throw up. And the nurses had left because I had started looking better. And that was before, like they left before I stood up. And so Joe brought the trash can over and I threw up in the trash can. And I kind of like kept on throwing up and I felt better. And then Joe was like, do you want a sip of water? And I felt good. And then I barfed again. And the nurse came in and, you know, Joe was like, yeah, she just threw up. So they got me another cool rag and I put that on me for a little bit. But just like my migraines, I felt way better after I threw up. So I just sat there for a couple more minutes. I'm telling you, I was probably like doing this whole ordeal for probably like 10-15 minutes. Not surprising. And then I left and I kind of shimmied out of there like a little old granny. And now I feel fine. It is just annoying because it's something that I can't help. Like I wasn't feeling super anxious beforehand. Like I tried the techniques, I tried to be calm. I took my medicine this morning. Like I ate a little bit of something right beforehand to have some sugar. Didn't matter, didn't matter. And I think the thing that I mean, that bothers me, and what I said to Joe right after, is that like, it's not even bad. You know, like, she stuck me once. It really didn't hurt. Like, obviously it doesn't feel good. It feels like a little pinch, but it wasn't bad. But afterwards I was just freaked out and had that vasovagal response where your heart rate or your blood pressure just plummets all of a sudden and you're like, done. I am not looking forward to my next appointment. I have one on Monday in less than a week. We are doing our sequential screening, so I'll have an ultrasound and then more blood work. And I'm just like, now I know what's in my future. I know. That was my 12-week appointment. I mean, overall, like, I'm feeling fine now, so whatever. That was 20, 30 minutes of hell, but I feel fine. I took a shower this morning so that I wouldn't have to take a shower tonight, because I'm not taking this bandage off until like tomorrow night, because that's going to be another triggering moment for me. I hope you enjoyed this drama-filled appointment day. I'm sure the next one will be the same. Like, hopefully not. Hopefully I will be totally fine. But you'll just have to tune in and see, I guess. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.